Our aerial exploration of Japan begins in the far northeast, in the Sea of Okhotsk, with the discovery of a wild paradise. The Shiretoko Peninsula is the untamed, elemental jewel of the extreme northeast of Hokkaido. Its rocky cape can only be reached by boat or foot. In 2005, thanks to its unique situation, it became a UNESCO Natural World Heritage Site. This long, black and ochre strip of rocks and volcanoes extends over 40 miles before plunging into the Sea of Okhotsk. This region at the end of the world, with its tormented relief, constantly battered by the winds, is the arid home of the Ainu people, one of the oldest tribes that lived in Japan before the arrival of the colonists in the 19th century. The whole peninsula, perfectly preserved, has become a national park. Some of its woodlands are primary forests that have never been explored. Hostile, icy, and covered with snow in winter, a realm for hunting and fishing in summer, Shiretoko means where the land ends in the Ainu language. In winter, safe from prying eyes, the vast pine forests shelter the dreams of the great Ainu deity, the brown bear, plentiful in this region of Hokkaido. Wolves, another Ainu divinity, were reputed for their supernatural powers. Extinct for more than a century, they were considered the messengers of the gods. To the west of the peninsula, the steep, wild cliffs conceal numerous waterfalls that flow straight into the sea. Shiretoko is the land of waterfalls, occasionally hot ones, generated by volcanic activity. Numerous animal species live and breed in this unique natural setting, like the big Shika deer. Because they are now overabundant, they disturb the fragile ecosystem and modify the vegetation of the region. The peninsula lies over a long section of the Pacific Ring of Fire, the volcanic arc that contains most of our planet's volcanoes. Japan, a land of fire and ashes, has more than 100 volcanoes scattered over its territory. On the island of Hokkaido alone, there are 31 craters, 9 of which are under close surveillance. Mount Raosu dominates the entire volcanic chain of the peninsula. Its steep summit and the eternal snows make its ascent very difficult. The Ainu call it the Old Man's Mountain. At the start of the volcanic chain, Mount Shali watches over this rocky land's end. Over the ages, the erosion of its slopes has created deep valleys. Mount Shali, like Mount Raosu, is one of Japan's 100 famous mountains. Here, the Ainu population, and later the first Japanese settlers of the Meiji era in the 19th century, have learned over time how to make their mark, master the elements, and find a home in the heart of this wild setting. In this region, human activity is intimately linked to the fishing industry. Raosu, one of the numerous small harbors at the heart of the peninsula, is known for its comestible seaweed. One can also sample the famous Hokkaido crab. In winter, snow blocks the only road providing access to the town. The island of Hokkaido is also the granary of the Japanese archipelago, thanks to its agricultural plains that produce wheat, beetroot, and potatoes. To the south of the Shiretoko Peninsula, we find the extensive wetlands of Hokkaido, as here, around Lake Furenko. This huge expanse of marshes was formerly submerged by the Pacific Ocean. It is home to more than 2,000 animal and plant species. In every season, it is possible to admire the Japanese crane, also known as the red-crowned crane. In this landscape of green meadows, dairy products, especially cheese, have ensured the reputation of Hokkaido. The Holstein cow, a great milk producer, is very present on the island. At the foot of the peninsula, we find more large farms and Japan's biggest livestock holdings. The island today occupies the first place in Japanese agriculture. When they arrived en masse at the beginning of the Meiji era, the first Japanese settlers, helped by many American advisors, adopted new methods and techniques of soil cultivation. The government was determined to transform the country into the leading Asian economic power. In the space of a few years, the island of Hokkaido was colonized and developed. Railway lines were marked out and roads built. In 3 decades, 400,000 men and women worked on making this volcanic land fertile.